arguably, when everything's set up correctly, the biggest club in Australia.
And it's a joy to watch.
Being left for dead.
People will probably think we're insane.
One of the best left foots we've seen in Australian football for a while. I haven't seen a robbery like this for a long time.
Mills is on his big white steed. Right.
Oh, that is special. Unbelievable. This, ladies and gentlemen, is football.
Hello and welcome back to Total A-Leagues. I'm Vince Rugari, Daniel McBreen, Tommy Orr back with me. Boys, always something happening in the A-League. Coach has got the chop, the worst decision of all time. Off the bat. We'll get to all of that more. There's a lot to dissect, so looking forward to doing that with you blokes as always. And we'll start, as always, with our best moments of round 13. Macca, get us started.
Well, I have to go with the guy who made me giggle in comms, in excitement, Eli Adams. This guy can hit bangers. Little touch from Dobbo to move the wall is not the greatest, but that goes like an absolute tracer bullet. Gee, he can hit a ball. So hit it so hard that he strained his hammy apparently when he did it. Yep. But he's making goalkeepers just stand and watch balls. Look at Lawrence Thomas there, just looking, going, yeah, well done. Yeah. And that was my highlight for the week.
Got an assist earlier in the game too, and how good has he been in the last month though? Because you look at their injuries and the likes of Battleado being out, he's really stepped up to the plate and did again in that game. So
he's one of the ones I think in the pre-season we're always hoping we want you to step up, and he's doing it really well. So we're going to talk about him a little bit more in a bit. Thomas, your turn.
Yeah, for me it was my old team Brisbane doing the job against Perth without their head coach Michael Valkanis. Obviously, condolences to the whole Valkanis family from everybody here at Total A-Leagues. Obviously, a really difficult time for that family, but what a response it was from Brisbane Roar. Without him there, the performance from Dimitri as well in this game was immense, and to come from behind, you can see after the game what it means to them. Yeah. That's the sign of a team that's really together and really loves their coach, I guess. So it's great performance from them, and I think it's good signs for Brisbane.
And it was a good win as well. They needed that win because they'd had a bit of trouble, and to do it in those circumstances, and this here where you see him on the phone, I just feel you see, like you said, the closeness and that, and like you said, to the Valkanis family, our very deep wishes for you that you can get through this difficult time.
From me as well, and important to remember, Michael's mum, Dimitri's grandma, had a massive influence on Australian football in her own way. Apparently, she used to run the souvlaki's at South Melbourne games. So if you went to a South Melbourne game in the NSL era and you had something to eat, there's a good chance that she prepared it. So that's wonderful. It's backbone of football stuff. Yep. So our condolences to the Valkanis family. For me, I go back home. Cooper Stadium, Adelaide United, Melbourne Victory, original rivalry. This game was mental, in the best possible way. I mean, we start here with who was. Put your hand up if you thought Craig Goodwin was finished. First of all.
Well, I never said that. I don't like being paraphrased like that. I still think he was going to go to the World Cup. I did say that last week. But, I mean, I did question his performances so far this season relative to what he'd done before, and what a way to respond to that. What a finish it was. And that little nutmeg in the build-up was amazing. But, this game really did have everything. You said it, the crowd as well. This is as good of an atmosphere, obviously watching it through TV, but it looked like the best atmosphere.
Sold out, I think, and there's nothing like Cooper Stadium sold out in Australian football. It is unbelievable, and I still can't believe that there's people in Australian football who have not experienced it. It's the kind of thing that makes you come back over and over again. And then to see this, I was just laughing.
Them running in all different directions, it's been an epic match and everything's happened when players just run off in all different directions. There's no real focus, and then they all go, we'll go and celebrate together, the drama, the theatre.
How good's the shot of Dillis with the fire coming out of it?
That's cinematic. That is poetry.
Unbelievable.
And anyone who went to that game, they're going back to another game, aren't they?
100%.
I'd say so.
Yeah.
We will have more to discuss on that match very soon, I reckon, boys. Yeah, we will. All right, to the big news in Australian football. Came out Tuesday night. We've literally just had it confirmed that who the replacement will be on an interim basis. But that man behind us, Alan Staj, gone as Western Sydney Wanderers coach. Gary Van Egmond will be the man to see out the rest of the season. Boys, I'm not shocked. I don't think any of us are. They've been poor. They've been much. The squad's way too good to be in the position they've been in this season, not scoring goals, 3 wins from 13. Throughout Alan Sajic's tenure, they were decent for half a season. last season, but it's always been difficult to try and ascertain what exactly they're trying to do.
Yeah.
And it's just the same old Wanderers for me, Macca.
It is the same old Wanderers. And what I don't understand is the timing as well. All right, so his position has been under scrutiny for quite some time. Now, they've just signed a couple of new players in the window. They're in the window, the players have come in, and now they go, we're going to sack the coach. The timing for me is weird. You either do it before the window so any potential new coach who's coming in can have a look at the squad and go, these are the players we need to have moving forward. But then they can go forward. Now, what if the new coach, and I know we've got an interim, Gary Van Egmond, which just been announced coming in, and we'll discuss that as well. But wouldn't you sort of be looking to say, right, if we're thinking about getting rid of him, someone else should be able to make those decisions. Now, that's my question now, is who is making the decisions on who is signing the players? Because we heard about a month or 2 months ago, all the rumours were that Staj was in charge of everything.
Yeah.
Well, Staj is gone now, so who's in charge of what and who made those signings? If they were he was that under pressure, who's making those signings? And if it was him, why was he allowed to?
Tommy, just to quickly jump in with what I've been saying off air, and it just sums them up for me. To sign Hiroshi Ibasuki, good striker, will do a job, could be really good in this Wanderers team. But to sign him for 18 months, immediately handcuffs whoever the next coach is to a particular style of play if he's in your squad. Next year we're going to a hard cap, or we might be going to a hard cap in the A-League, so there's some salary that is locked up now there already in not only an import player, but a pretty specific kind of forward. And this is the Wanderers in terms of you let the coach decide which kind of football you want to play. That coach signs players that will fit that football. It doesn't work. The coach goes. The players remain. The next guy has a different idea.
Clean up the mess.
How do you restart?
There's no big picture thinking or transparency. Yeah. So it just feels like if there's neither of them are going to change, it just feels like the same mistakes are going to happen over and over and over again. And in the last few weeks, the way this has played out, it's been exactly the same as it has historically. Yeah. So it's always going to be a difficult job coming in for the rest of the season. But at the same time, they're only 8 points off the 6. Mm-hmm. This season's not over. There's still everything to play for. And with their squad, they can still salvage a lot this season. But as you both said, I mean, there's not too much more you can add. Things in the background, long term for the Wanderers, need to change drastically.
They've been no good for about 10 years, right? Yeah. Roughly. Their women's team has never been good. They've played finals once in 13 seasons, I believe. It doesn't matter to me who the next coach is until the Wanderers, the ownership, board, executives sit back and actually do this big picture work.
Who are they? Who are they trying to be?
Exactly right. Are we a team that wants to play, popper ball style as they did in the early years of the Wanderers, which is a more sort of defensive, hard-nosed counter-attack style? Do they want to play possession football? Which one reflects their community better?
Yeah.
Decide that and make sure that everything they do flows off the back of that. Because the reality is, chopping and changing for a long time gets you nowhere, and they've been being left for dead by Sydney FC.
Yeah.
Now, I know Sydney FC aren't going amazing. They're much better on the ladder than Wanderers, but they've got a strategy. They've got someone in Alex Balmahan, the head of player management, who is thinking about these things long term, figuring out how do we...
Ex-Wanderers player.
Exactly right. Even more embarrassing. He's trying to figure out, okay, we've got for example, a gem of a left back coming through the academy. Yeah. How do we make sure that player gets maximum first team minutes in X amount of years?
Which is also what the Sydney Academy is at, a stable position with stable people in those high up positions making the decisions coming through, and you're seeing all these players starting to come through. The other thing we're talking about, what style and moving forward, Gary Van Egmond comes in. Ninko's now been 18 months as an assistant. I think Pradanovic is coming in to help as well, who's got experience as an assistant coach. Why wouldn't you just go, all right, look up the road to the Jets. Yeah. Mark Milligan did a couple of years as an assistant. He's never coached in the A-League before. Look what they're doing. Ninko, I would imagine that Ninko's going to go, we want to play a nice, attractive style of football.
Which they have the players to do.
Which they do have the players to do. So why wouldn't you go, you know what, Ninko?
Yeah.
Take it for the 6 months.
Yeah.
Pradanovic comes from youth team and comes up and helps and see how it goes that way. Why not be progressive and go, righto, Ninko, there you go. Show us what you've got and see if he can move the club forward in that direction and start to
that will create discussion,
the style of play.
And that will create discussion, excitement, and probably get the fans back into the stadium, which has been a huge problem for the Wanderers as well.
Yeah.
Irrespective of results in the last few seasons, obviously last year Staj did really well, but the crowds has been an ongoing issue, and they need to find a way to galvanise the community to get them back to the games.
Yeah.
And it's important to remember, the reason why we're so hard on the Wanderers is because we know what they can be and what they have been, which is arguably, when everything's set up correctly, the biggest club in Australia. When they're not performing at an optimal level as a club, it doesn't just affect Western Sydney, it affects the A-League and Australian football.
Yeah.
So it's in everyone's interests that they become good again. But the sights of Combank Stadium, let's not forget they got built because they were so good, basically, and because their crowds were amazing. Now you look at it, and it's difficult, man. It's empty, and you don't blame them. I don't blame the Western Sydney supporters for jumping off because they are intelligent football. They're discerning football people. They understand the game, and they've had enough of 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years of chopping, changing, no direction whatsoever. They are the ones who I think won't come back until the Wanderers actually get this big picture strategy stuff that we're talking about right. They're crying out for it. They want that so bad.
It's the biggest breeding ground of talent in Australia as well. West Sydney. Why aren't there more young West Sydney people coming through, getting more opportunity to play in the first team? We've seen the likes of Alex Rufer had to move elsewhere to play. That's an ongoing story and theme at that club. You've got the talent on your doorstep. Going to watch them play and excite the league is what the locals want to see, I think. So that needs to be, like what Sydney FC is doing, part of their philosophy moving forward as well, I think.
Yeah. Onto the Newcastle Jets, boys. As you mentioned, Mac, a model of how quickly things can change for a club if you make the right appointments, put the right people in place, empower them. They're playing fantastic football at the moment, don't you think?
Form team of the club, a joy to watch. Young, talented players that are stepping up to the plate. Academy players getting opportunities and really showing their worth. A real fluid team with a clear message in the way they play. Tweaked a little bit, haven't changed their philosophy, but tweaked a little bit to shore themselves up at the back, which has shown massive dividends going forward. And all of a sudden, when it was looking, we were going, oh, maybe they're a bit too young and they're going to get bullied in games. All of a sudden, those couple of tweaks, and this coach in Mark Milligan, who has been brave and gone, I'm going to play the kids if they're good enough, that we're seeing the results now of a really exciting team that plays a defined kind of football. The fans are now getting behind it. They're seeing their own coming through, and they're sitting third in the league, which don't think they've been there for 8 years at this stage of the league. And it's a joy to watch. And we just had this big talk about Western Sydney. I say, look up there and see what they're
blueprint.
doing. Exactly.
Or even look at, to the Mariners who, not in the right spot right now, but they won titles with an inexperienced coach in Nick Montgomery, with a squad filled of academy products and players that other clubs didn't want. It's not that hard. If you can figure out what you're trying to do, you can do it.
And I think the impressive thing for the Jets is that it's not just one or two players who are having outstanding seasons who are kind of carrying the team and getting results for them like we see at other clubs sometimes. There's 7 or 8 young players who are all stepping up to the plate. Some weeks they're on the bench. Lockie Rose, for example, start of the season was on the bench. He comes in, he's scoring goals for fun. Will Dobson, still young and so exciting. Clayton Taylor's back from injury. Eli Adams, you can just rattle off names.
Throw Zach Clough in there.
Exactly, which is a great addition.
And
I think his qualities will complement, coming in outside the pocket. He's a very intelligent player, and I think that they're building a compelling case to be dark horses, I think, this season.
Dark horses?
They're not even dark horses anymore. Mills is on his big white steed, riding into town going, look out, boys, we're coming. They've beat Auckland twice, away from home.
Won the cup.
Yeah. They are humming along.
Eli Adams. How good, man. One of the best left foots we've seen in Australian football for a while. And a highlight reel that he's starting to build that makes you think, all right, these aren't just flashes. This is a player who's got this in his locker.
When he came through at Brisbane years ago, I could not believe they let him go. I thought he was fantastic. He came up, first got his break under Warren Moon, I believe, and he was a real attacking outlet, youthful exuberance, doing all of this stuff, maybe not to the level he is now, but you could see that this kid had something. And I couldn't believe they let him go. He had to sit on the bench at Victory and hardly get any time there. But, gee, isn't he now stepping up to the plate? 23 years of age. Vince, you keep saying that's starting to get a little bit old. I don't think so. When he's got a highlight reel like this and he is changing games for the Jets, this kid, and I'm still going to call him a kid because he's still young in terms of his experience in the league compared to me. But the highlight reel, the assists he gets, the positions he takes up, the movement off the ball is absolutely a joy to watch, and he makes me giggle every time he bangs it.
Well, he's blooming later than I think he would have liked.
But
it's not always that's not his fault.
It's through opportunity.
Yeah, and the environments he's been in, Brisbane should have,
They were more defensive, which didn't suit him as well.
Yeah, this guy should have come through like this a while ago. Better late than never. I'm not going to put a ceiling on what he can achieve, though, because how old was Aaron Moy when he cracked it overseas for the first time? Mid-20s, I think?
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's going to do exactly that, but I'm not going to also limit what he could achieve.
That's right. And I think the impressive thing for me this season is that, at the start, Millsy put him on the bench a bit. There was a little bit of a test of character. I think he was not like a shoe-in starter that we thought he was going to be at the start of the season, but he showed his kind of resilience and mental capacity to earn his way into the starting 11 and hasn't looked back really. But I think that, that seed that was planted by Millsy and kind of like prove your worth again, and he did it. So you got to give him hats off.
Yeah. Another late bloomer is Max Burgess. Let's hear from him now talking about the collective attitude at the Jets and what it's been like playing in a deeper role in their midfield.
Played in a different role to what we've seen from you over the years in the A-League, and you led your team with aplomb. You must be delighted.
Yeah, super stoked. Obviously played a deeper role today. Had been chatting about it with Millsy and Stava for a couple of weeks now, and really enjoyed it. I think I'm getting a bit older now, so maybe I'll be moving further back the pitch, but I really enjoyed it, and another great winners as a group.
Talk to me. I suppose you've played in some successful A-League teams. You know when there's that magic there. Are you feeling that magic at the Jets?
I don't want to speak too soon. I felt from day one, though, in our cup run, there was something special, a real collective attitude, a real selflessness, and I think that's really important in a team sport. Everyone works hard for each other, and I think the last 15 minutes today is testament to that. And I'm really excited.
Talking of something special, though, Eli Adams from a set piece, my word.
I mean, I wanted to just roll it to him, just get a cheap assist, but Dobbo did it. But no, he's a special player. I always say at breakfast in the hotel, win us a game, mate. He's got that magic, and he showed it today again.
Decent pickup, Burgess, don't you think?
And also him playing in that deeper role, I think his qualities lean itself well into that. I think his technical ability in that team, if you're defensively you're under pressure, you can give him the ball, and he's got the technical ability to kind of get out of pressure and progress their attacks, which is crucial. And I think that, at his age, moving to that more defensive role, I think he could be playing in that position for a lot of years to come, I think.
Yeah, and wore the armband as well, which is pretty good for a player who has not always been... The coaches he's played under haven't always loved what he's about.
Yeah.
But he's found one that does.
He seems to fit in really well. Everyone speaks so highly of him there, and he just seems to fit into that Newcastle. He's a bit laid back, isn't he? Where that Newcastle vibe can sort of just, you can be a little bit more chilled.
Yeah. So Friday night, Macca, they got Wellington.
They have.
Would you say these are the form teams of the comp right now?
Well, I think... You know how I love my stats. The stats say that they are. They're two top form teams in the competition, so this should be a banger. Interesting little thing. I know the rumour mill and social media isn't always a place that you should get all your information, but a little rumour went out this week that the Jets are chasing Alex Rufer, so to fit into that sixth role.
Which would be a great addition for them.
Mate, Alex Rufer's a quality player, and this is what he can do when he goes forward, but we all know when he's in that sixth position how well he covers the area, how he wins the ball, he gets the team going forward, and you add this little sprinkle on top. Now, that's just a rumour, but I think it would be a great addition, and I'm sure Wellington Phoenix would be saying, there's no chance we want to let him go. This would be a good one. Two teams in top form at the moment, and Jets... That white stallion. Can Chiefy knock him off?
Yeah, we'll see. Can't wait for that one. All right, VAR. We all love it. We all think the game's been better for it.
Yep.
So that's the end of the segment. We're obviously going to talk about the decision on the weekend. But before we do, let's hear from the head of referees, John Moss, who spoke to James Dodd about this decision.
Now, there will be people and fans that will say, well, he's never getting to that ball anyway. But we'll never know that because he's already made his judgment. He's had to look round. Because somebody in an offside position is in his way, essentially, if you want to put it into layman terms. And it's a subjective decision. That's why it took them a little bit longer than normal. And by the virtue of a subjective decision, you will always have some people that say the goal should stand, and we'll also have some people that will say, in law it's correct, and therefore it should be chalked off.
So
we are poles apart.
Cards on the table. As you know, I'm an Adelaide boy, therefore an Adelaide United fan, although it doesn't really work that way when you become a journalist. I was sitting myself on the couch watching this game, and this was evidence that I'm not an Adelaide United cheerleader. I watched that and I thought, I haven't seen a robbery like this for a long time.
Yeah.
I feel for Melbourne victory. That is unfair. Arthur Dillers has every right to go as bananas as he wants after that game. I don't know who I'm directing my vibes towards, whether it's the rule book, the referee. It's probably the VAR, because when I look at that, when I listen to John Moss, what he said there, this is a subjective decision. whatever the rules say, they say that.
Yeah.
The VAR is not there for that. That is not a clear and obvious error. VAR should not be adjudicating subjective decisions. I don't want that for our game.
Well, the re-refereeing of a decision is something I agree completely with you with. That shouldn't
that's the
happen.
end of the segment.
But for me, I actually think they came to the right decision. For me, that freeze frame, he's right in the line between the ball and the goalkeeper's eyes. Everything else is irrelevant. He obviously wouldn't have saved that shot, but it's an irrelevant thing. I think that is offside every day of the week for me.
The VAR actually said, because they released the audio, didn't they, on this week, and the VAR actually said, he's offside, bro. That's end of story.
Yeah.
And he's in the line. And I go around to say that the referee's got the decision right, but we all think the common sense should have been a goal potentially because he's not going to get there. But once he's even it's not black and white. Tommy, we've spoken about this off air. It's not. It's either 0% or 100% his vision skewed or not. If it's 1%, if he has to move one little bit, he's affected by that guy in front of him.
And it's offside.
It's offside.
That's right.
And this is coming from two attacking players, so we would normally stick on that.
Yeah, that's right.
But I think the referees have ultimately come to the right decision as much as we all, as football lovers, hate it.
I'm not so sure, because I think the rules, say it's got to be a clear obstruction. And I'm not sure that it was.
Define clear.
Well,
because I think that's pretty clear.
But this is why I think
as well.
I don't, and many others don't, and they're not all Melbourne Victory fans who are salty. That, to me, underlines why the VAR should be getting involved. It's not clear and obvious. It's a subjective decision.
Yeah.
My
angst against VAR is more when they end up getting the decision wrong. I'm not going to choose the one where they ended up getting the right decision in my eyes to say I don't like VAR, which I don't.
It might be one of those ones that's correct by the book, but Marbo, vibes, etc.
Yeah, 100%.
Nobody...
But then change the rules. It's not the referees.
It's not the referee. Don't shoot the referees. Shoot the rule makers.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to say.
Yeah, I don't hold the refs, that they've got rules that they've got to follow, protocols, etc. Do that. But for me, that just seemed like an injustice to me.
But see, that position there also, if you have a free kick and then a guy runs across the line who's just in a not clearly offside position, just runs across the line, and when did he see? Was there a little bit if he could see, he couldn't see? He's in an offside position and he runs across the line of the goalkeeper. He affects the goalkeeper.
That's right.
And I never stick up for goalkeepers.
Yeah. It's true.
I never stick up for Melbourne Victory. So, all right, we'll move on. Also from this game, boys. I think in the pre-season or at the start of the season, we were saying that anyone who needs to make or wants to make this Socceroos squad for the World Cup, is playing in the A-League, has to shoot the lights out. I said Nishan Valupale for Johnny Warren. Don't think that's happening. He might still have a really good finish to the season, but this was a game here where I thought, mate, you've let a massive opportunity slip. You need to take games like this by the scruff of the neck and take your chances, which were not speculative chances. These are good chances. You should be at least hitting the target. And Mac, I was disappointed.
Well, look at the converse quickly. Goody.
Yeah.
We spoke about Goody and his opportunities. Like, you're looking at really, not to even hit the target. Yeah. These are the chances where you're thinking, Nish is a big game player. He has to do that. You look on the other side, Goody did it.
Yeah.
And you start to go...
And you said it, though, Macca, to me the other day. I think this is true as well. You look at the context of how Valupale got into the Socceroos, and it wasn't when he was banging them in. It's that his selection resulted in him starting to do that. So I think that, I still wouldn't be surprised if he does get in the Socceroos squad, because if you look at the last month and the change in momentum for Melbourne Victory, what was the key driver of that change? It was Valupale coming back.
Yep.
So although he still maybe hasn't got his shooting boots on, and we saw that on the weekend, I still think his influence on the team's been very positive. And for me, I'm not, I wouldn't go as far as to say that game's a cross against him going to the World Cup.
No. But I just think it was, it's a better conversation in terms of his World Cup chances if he's scoring those goals than if he's not. You're right. I think you're right. But opportunity missed, I think, for him there to just make sure
stamp his authority.
That's right. And that's what I think players who are in the A-League and want to be at the World Cup need to do.
Yeah.
If he bounces back next week and he scores a goal or gets an assist and they win, then he's at a blip.
Yeah. It's an interesting game. Sydney FC, the Big Blue. Who is who's the favourite here? Because both these teams don't seem... I'm not convinced.
We spoke about this off air and we're both in agreement that I think Melbourne Victory is the favourite in this game. And if you look at the table, people will probably think we're insane. But if you look at the last month and you dive deeper than results and you look at performances, I'm more convinced from Melbourne Victory being on a good trajectory than Sydney FC at the moment. Sydney FC against Macarthur were outstanding 2 weeks ago. But other than that, I think they've been very lacklustre. And Victory, I think that against Adelaide, they certainly weren't poor. But overall, I just think their attacking play, I think they're going to be too hot to handle for a Sydney FC that's got a lot of injuries, it has to be said.
They do. Their best players, obviously, sideline and Joe Lolly, and we've spoken about it a few times. The front two, the foreign two, who should be basically how the A-League works is your foreign players should be some of your best players.
Yep.
They're not doing what they should be doing, Macca.
No, they're not. No Toure, no Lolly. Lolly was their big driving force, obviously. Yeah. They got Yuli out now for 3 weeks with that horrendous challenge. I'm with Tommy last week. I would have left Quintal on and Pat Wood.
Agreed.
Pat Wood would give you more of a presence up front, but it feels sometimes with Uffy that, and not just Uffy, with a lot of coaches, that we've brought foreign players over, we've made a statement, we have to play them, and sometimes I think that's to the detriment of some of the younger Aussie players who could have been in. And Tommy, you said it to me, Quintal and Wood, I think, would have given them a better outlet this week, that those foreigners have to step up, and I don't think they are. There was a little bit of chatter around Sydney FC that Capitano might be looking to go back before the window came over. And is Kispe doing the right things? And then they both scored goals against MacArthur. And it was like, oh no, they're coming good now.
The young players are held to a higher standard than the foreigners, and it should be the opposite.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. So the disruptions continue for them, as you mentioned, Macca, Reece Yuli, a red card, 3 game suspension. I don't know if anyone is going to have too many complaints. Well, certainly not about the red card itself.
It was only
3 games, not common, but fair enough here probably. I mean,
only 2 metres away from the ball.
It's a really dangerous tackle.
It is. It's a terrible tackle. That is all day a red card, and I don't think you can have any complaints about 3 weeks because he could get seriously injured from that tackle.
He could have broken that ankle.
I think as well, it's just overzealous. The way he plays his game, he flies into tackles. He's very confrontational in his approach, and I think that was a little bit of naivety there, and I'm sure he'll learn his lesson from that. Yeah,
it's a double-edged sword with young players, isn't it? Yeah. That's how it goes sometimes. All right, another opportunity missed for Sydney. Let's hear now from Ufuk Talay, who spoke post-match.
Is that a fair assessment? Uffy, the best team, won without much, not without much contest, but without much debate?
I definitely disagree, Harps. If you look at the stats, we dominated every factor of the game other than scoring goals tonight. So I thought we were quite comfortable. The ball, the possession, the chances we created. We had 12 equal shots. We missed 3 big chances in the game. We were quite comfortable until the red card. Red card changed the game. I thought the tackle that Thiago made was a fair challenge. He wins the ball. Maybe the official saw it differently. We get a yellow card. Harrison, unfortunately, we get a deflection. We concede the goal, no problem. The red card is definitely a red card for me. No doubts about that. But overall, even with 10 men, I thought we played in their half in the second half. Didn't create enough moments, but created enough moments maybe possibly to get ourselves something out of the game, and conceded a sloppy goal with the set piece, which allowed them to win the game 2-0.
Interesting comments. You always hear that from us. It's Sydney FC heritage, mate. Bimby used to say the same things.
I think it doesn't matter what the game was like. That same press conference you can just play after every week because he says the same comments every game. And I'm a big fan of Uffy, but completely disagree. I think Wellington. Everyone that watched that game would agree Wellington deserved to win.
James Dodd, welcome to the panel, mate.
Gents, good to be here.
You're here to give us a transfer update courtesy of eToro, mate. So give us a rundown. What's doing?
So for those who are unaware, obviously the transfer window runs from the 14th until the 10th of February. So 11:59 on the 10th of Feb is when it closes. Clubs have been pretty busy as it is. We've seen Ryan Teague was one of those players that Melbourne City brought in. Melbourne City have been very busy at the moment. He joined from Carve Mechelen, made his debut against Auckland FC. There are 2 more players who are going to be joining Melbourne City as well before this transfer window is out. One of those is someone we know very well, Daniel Arzani. We're understanding if this is not announced by the time this programme goes to air, then he will be a Melbourne City player. He's joining on loan for the remainder of the season. So in that discussion, before we get to the third player, you've got Ryan Teague and Daniel Arzani, 2 former Melbourne Victory players, albeit Daniel Arzani made his name at Melbourne City in this competition. Where do we stand on that? We know both players are joining to try and force their way into Tony Popovich's Socceroos squad. But do you think, as former players joining a rival on a short-term deal, does that devalue the derbies? What do you think?
Well, I think, a player can only choose from the options they have. And, who's to say that Melbourne Victory do have, in Ryan Teague's case, a lot of midfielders at the moment. They probably weren't looking for a Teague to come back. So, if you're Teague and you want to go to the World Cup, you can only choose from the options you have. And if City's one of the options, you have to take it seriously. Whilst I understand, you do want to create this kind of rivalries and, don't want the players to be mixing. And I completely understand the reasons, but I also think that Melbourne City's culpable in that. They can easily not go for those players as well.
The 2 Sydney boys, Teague and Arzani, they don't care about the Melbourne derby, obviously. We spoke about this before, that the hostilities in derbies when players should never go, when you talk about Barcelona, Real Madrid, Boca Juniors, River Plate, all this stuff, that is brought on by the crowd and the people. We don't really have that culture in Australia where, you are one or the other. Well, foreigners come to Australia and they go to a football match and they go, why isn't it segregated?
Yeah.
Because we don't have that culture where we have that hatred. It's a match. We go and we do, there is a small pockets that would hate it, but it isn't as fervent as it is overseas. And, Tommy's right. If that's the only option and you want to play in a World Cup, get there.
But will we ever have that culture if this keeps happening? It reminds me of last season when the players before a Sydney derby, some Wanderers and Sydney FC players were playing golf together.
Yeah,
and it's like,
far, yeah.
of course you're allowed to play golf together, but I think you are obligated, I think, to respect the rivalry a little bit. And having said that, you can't make an assessment unless you know what options they had, as you said, Tommy. But it reminds me also of something that Bruce Jitte said on the Suited and Booted podcast recently, which was when he was coming back from Turkey to the A-League, he had two options: Melbourne Victory or Gold Coast United. And because he was a former Adelaide United player, he basically ruled out Victory. He's like, well, I can't go there. And
being from the Gold Coast, great choice.
The other option was obviously sensational, as we all know. But I just think we risk diminishing the rivalry. I don't blame anyone here. It's not anyone's made a mistake, but I just think collectively we just need to recognise that for fans, some fans, more than probably you'd imagine, Macca, they do care about this stuff.
They do, 100%. Yeah. But we also saw when the coach from Melbourne City, PK went to Victory. Most of the Victory fans didn't take to him because of that rivalry. So I think it depends on the player and the situation and all that kind of stuff, and the coach as well, because when PK came for 7 weeks, half of them were just like, we don't want him. And when he left, they were like, we knew you were going to do this to us.
And there's only 12 teams. If you start crossing teams off because you don't want to go there, you're not going to have many teams left to choose from.
It's difficult. I don't envy the players when they're in those situations.
The third player we're going to be talking about, obviously, just very briefly, Marcus Younis. We're expecting he's going to be joining Melbourne City on loan as well, which is a young player who struggled for game time, change of coach over in Denmark where he is with Brøndby. He's coming back, 6-month loan deal, get some minutes. Not expecting any World Cup recognition or anything like that, but obviously with him, it's more about trying to get his feet on the pitch and actually get some minutes, and if he's not going to get game time where his current club is, go somewhere else.
Were the Wanderers in the mix there? I don't know, but they should have been.
If they're not,
and
it's crazy.
Good for City with the ACL as well, has to be said.
Yeah. More depth.
Yeah.
Another player in a very interesting position, Ryan Fraser. Now, Southampton own him at present. He's got 6 months left on his deal in the Championship. He's going to be joining, we think, Western Sydney Wanderers on a loan deal until the end of the season. Now, Premier League pedigree, 31, a good age bracket. Someone who's very talented, very reliant on his pace. He can make things happen. He's been in Sydney at the moment. Tommy, you know him well because you would have played with him.
Yep.
But lads, how strange is this that you've also got a position like Hiroshi Ibasuki where you've had a coach who's actually signed him, the coach has gone in Staj.
Yeah.
Also, you've now got Ryan Fraser, who would have no doubt been talking to the people at Western Sydney Wanderers and been told what his role's going to be. He's coming in with a completely different coach if he does actually end up signing for them.
Well, I think any new coach that comes in, I'm pretty sure it'll be a clean slate for everyone, which is sometimes can make it easier as a new player coming in because you're just on equal footing to everyone else in the squad all of a sudden. But talking about Ryan Fraser, he is a fantastic player. When I first signed at Ipswich, he was probably the standout player in that season for Ipswich Town. In the 2018-19 season, he actually was second in assists in the Premier League behind Eden Hazard, who was number one. So, I mean, his track record speaks for itself. He's got immense quality. I haven't seen him play for a few years, but if he's anything like what he was, 3 or 4 years ago when I last saw him play, I think it's going to be great for the Wanderers. He likes to hug the touchline on the left side and come in onto his right foot. Great delivery into the box and scores goals. So I think it's a great signing if that's true.
And the fact that he's 31, not 36, 37, he's in his prime.
He's been playing 16 games as well. He's not as if he's been frozen out. He's been on the bench every single week. He has featured for Southampton this year, and it reminds me actually, Vince, of Amor Layuni when he came in. We've seen sometimes the January transfer window can be a bit hit and miss. People get desperate, but when it does work and you bring someone in with pedigree like that, I mean, Layuni for the short spell he was at Wanderers was one of the best players in the competition. So maybe the Wanderers are hoping that they can repeat the trick and Fraser can be that player.
And if they're not careful, if he comes in and he has 5 or 6 great games, I think every A-League team might be coming to look for him next season. So, I think they should be watching his next few games closely, and if he does well, maybe look to lock him up.
So we're going to get on to Nick D'Agostino. There are some quick hits that we can go through as well. Nathaniel Blair has joined the Mariners on a deal until the end of the season. They're also looking to bring in a Japanese forward. That's at the visa stage at the moment in the Mariners. There's some exciting stuff going on there despite the bad week that they've had as a club. Stefan Colakovski's joined Perth Glory on a deal until the end of the season as well. But Nick D'Agostino, another player like we mentioned at the top with Ryan Teague and with Daniel Arzani coming back to try and force his way into Tony Popovic's plans for the World Cup, if he can get himself there. We know the qualities that Daggers brings back to the A-League, the showreel that he's got.
Yeah.
A different type of forward as well, Macca. It's a loan deal until the end of the season from Viking. A different type of profile forward to what they've got at Brisbane already.
Yeah, exactly. He is the profile of being strong and aggressive, fits very well, but he's also very quick, loves to run in behind, stretch defences, and he's got an all-round capability to score goals, as his highlight reel shows.
Yep.
He can score bombs, he can run into the box to get the tap in, he's good and strong in the air. I think that's a good move because they have struggled to score goals at Brisbane, and I think that little change in their dynamic going forward could help them to unlock defences.
And create more chances, because they haven't been creating too many chances for the likes of Vidic and Roos so far this season, and he will definitely make them a lot better. But I think there's how many chances will he get? That's also going to be a big question for Brisbane.
Yeah, I think he's in a shootout for a World Cup spot with Mitchell Duke, to be honest. They're both competing to be that sort of more powerful striker, that target man kind of operator. I think he fits Brisbane Raw this season under Valkanis brilliantly. Yep. The ethos, and he's a Queenslander, let's not forget. So a good signing there. Dotty, thanks very much. You'll be back next week to host the show, because I won't be. I'm going to miss, I think, the next 6 weeks. Life's tough. I'm going to Europe to cover the Winter Olympics and beforehand do a little bit of, football stuff in London and Italy.
I feel pretty sorry for you.
I have some good yarns when I get back.
Violins out.
Haven't even mentioned my holiday in Sicily at the end.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, really difficult.
Unbelievable.
I think I'll survive. So,
looking forward to it.
Thanks, Dotty. Look after these. Well, yeah. Good luck with that, is all I'll say. For now, though, we're going to hear a little bit more from Nick D'Agostino on him joining Brisbane Raw.
Yeah, it's great. Obviously, a lot of nostalgia coming back. Obviously this is the club I started my career at, so yeah, very, very pleased to be back. I've had a lot of competition, but throughout my whole career I've had a lot of competition. No matter what club I was at, there's always been competition for that number 9 spot. So I like competition. I don't mind it at all. It creates a healthy environment to be in. You always wanted to push yourself to be the best, and no different coming back here. Obviously, like I said, the goal is the World Cup, but day in, day out, it's Brisbane focused. Obviously, like I said, I want to play games as soon as possible and as many minutes as possible and score as many goals as I can. So, all the focus is on that and just helping the team in any way I can.
All right, let's look ahead to round 13 and the things to look out for, and there's quite a few. I should probably take a deep breath before we get into this. Jets Wellington, we've already spoken about how good a game this is going to be. 2 form teams in the comp. There's a DJ outside the game and inside the venue at halftime if you get bored, which you shouldn't. Maniacs axe throwing, why not? There's cut out heads in active. No further information provided there, so let your imagination run wild. Might be related to the axe throwing, who knows? There'll be paper jets, the competition there, throwing those onto the field. A food relay at halftime with the fans. Don't know what that is, but sounds good. Auckland, they do this stuff better than anyone else in the comp. The beach is back behind the goal. The first 1,000 people in the family fun zone will get free Auckland FC sunglasses, which is pretty sick.
Yes.
I might see if I can get over there. The slide is back also, so that's good. Brisbane, Adelaide, Saturday afternoon at Suncorp. There's soccer darts.
Yep.
Again, no further information provided. I have a few ideas what that could be. And a giant inflatable field outside the North Plaza. I think that's where the Wally Lewis statue is, Tommy Orr. Nick D'Agostino, of course, a Queenslander, as we just spoke about, could be there making his debut in his, second stint at the club. MacArthur, Melbourne City, Saturday night in Campbelltown. Do any of you know who Arthur is?
Arthur MacArthur.
Yeah, that's the mascot.
Yeah.
I didn't know this. But it's his birthday this weekend, so congratulations to Arthur, and there'll be a birthday theme to the match and all the celebrations. At halftime, there'll be mascot musical chairs on the pitch, which is good. I hope we get footage of that.
Yes.
They're also running a school supplies drive, and they're asking fans to bring along school supplies to donate to the Silver Coin Project. All the details on the MacArthur FC website. And the rest is pretty standard, normal football stuff, of course. Wanderers start a new era. Might be a short one under Gary Van Egmond. I think he's only interim. We'll find out. Who the hell knows what's going on there. And then you've got the Big Blue on Australia Day, which is always a highlight of the A-League calendar. So that is
great weekend.
A lot going on.
A lot going on.
Yep.
Exciting stuff, boys. So I'll miss doing this. Good luck with everything.
I'm sure
without me, I think you're going to struggle badly, to be honest, without my guiding hand. But, so be it.
Enjoy your time, mate.
I'll be okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching Toto A-Leagues. Don't skip the show just because I'm not on. Support Dotty, support the boys. I'll be watching. See you next week.